Welcome to the Maximize Business Value podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Mastery Partners, where our mission is to equip business owners to maximize business value so they can transition their business on their terms. Our mission was born from the lessons we've learned from over 100 business transactions, which fuels our desire to share our experiences and wisdom so you can succeed. Now here's your host, CEO, Mastery Partners, Tom Bronson.
Hi, this is Tom Bronson, and welcome to Maximize Business Value, a podcast for business owners who are passionate about building long-term, sustainable value in your business. Every business on the planet will transition eventually. Say it with me. Every business on the planet will eventually transition. Wouldn't it be better to create a transition for your business by design as opposed to having it happen by default in case something happens? So if you're a business owner who wants to maximize the value of your business, get the most for it, and eventually transition, you found the right place. This episode is part of our series from my latest book, Maximize Business Value Playbook podcast, Playbook, whatever. 65 specific actions to dramatically increase the value of your business. Today, we're on chapter 20, and it's all about addressing and institutionalizing any family, employee, or shareholder issues. If you have them, you know what I'm talking about. If there are any unusual practices in the business, things that happen kind of off the books, those things should be memorialized in writing. Now, if there are any strange relationships with shareholders or other stakeholders, they need to be documented. Now, let me give you a typical example. It's a promise of ownership to a key employee. If ownership was promised verbally, why not put it in writing? One of the biggest mistakes business owners make is telling employees that they're thinking about doing something. For example, I'm thinking about offering you ownership in the business, or I'm thinking about forming an employee stock ownership plan or ESOP, because once it's verbalized, the employees will believe it as the gospel, even if the intent was not so concrete. Verbalizing something along those lines can lead to issues down the road. So if the business owner is seriously intent on doing something, then why not take the action to put it in writing? An agreement in writing is far less open to interpretation down the road. Another great example of a possible issue that needs to be documented is having retired employees or another individual who gets paid for specific results and works as a contractor on a 1099 basis. Now, many times, these types of arrangements are never memorialized in a written agreement. Suppose something happens to the owner and one of these individuals delivers the results on a verbal promise of payment. In that case, there could be a significant misunderstanding regarding the amount owed for the work done. Now, I have to tell you, I've been duped by this one before. Many years ago, I had a verbal agreement with a major shareholder that protected my interest as a minority shareholder. We worked together for years before the issue even came up. By that time, we both had a very different reality of the verbal agreement that we had in place. Now, ultimately, we reached an agreement, but I am confident that neither of us was happy with the outcome, and it damaged our relationship for a long time. So agreements need to be specific. Spell out expectations on both sides of the equation, and it will lead to less conflict in the future. Now, when these things are in writing, a potential buyer will know exactly what's in play and determine how to handle it in the future. The Maximize Business Value recommended actions this week. Number one, take action to put all verbal agreements in writing and signed by both parties. Number two, avoid issues down the road by including specifics in all documents. And number three, consider hiring a family counselor to help with any sticky issues that there might be in the business. Reach out to us if you need a referral for one of those. Next week, we're talking about buy-sell agreements. Now, that one is going to be great, so don't miss it. This is the Maximize Business Value podcast, where we give practical advice to business owners on how to build long-term sustainable value in your business. If you've just stumbled onto the MBV podcast for the first time, there are 180 episodes crammed with valuable information just waiting to be downloaded wherever you found this podcast. So download some of them today. Until next time, I'm Tom Bronson, reminding you to pick one thing, just one thing this week to dramatically improve the value of your business, and do it today while you maximize business value.
Thank you for tuning into the Maximize Business Value podcast with Tom Bronson. This podcast is brought to you by Mastery Partners, where our mission is to equip business owners to maximize business value so they can transition on their terms. Learn more on how to build long-term sustainable business value and get free value-building tools by visiting our website, www.masterypartners.com. That's master with a Y, masterypartners.com. Check it out.
That was perfect. I wouldn't make any changes on that.